Hi, everybody. Round six is done. Congratulations, Jessica. Final four. How are we doing?
Great, how are you?
Great. All right. So what is your guess as to what is going to happen in the game going forward, if you could predict it?
Oh, well, I thought next week would be the last week until you piped in about potentially, is it the last week? So I'm not completely discounting the fact that someone might be returning to the game, which fine. I feel like if somebody were to return to the game, they're at a big disadvantage, especially when it comes to the last quiz, because that person would have missed numerous weeks of information. But we'll see how that happens next week. But I just assumed, if no one's coming back, then it's down to three people come Monday. And then we do another final challenge or two, and then it's the final quiz with the final three and then the big reveal. So, yeah,
All right.
I'm
Well,
excited.
how much is Heather's advantage of 1 point in the quiz an advantage, in your opinion, at this stage?
I think it's a big one, and I feel like I'm going into the quiz um with a big disadvantage. I th I think Jonathan's the person to beat, and I think he's just been very consistent with the quizzes and he's quick. Like even talking to him in the rooms during the challenges this week, I like he mentioned two things and was like, "Oh, there's two questions I got wrong." So like he's paying attention, he's taking good notes, he's playing hard. I am confident that Jonathan will make it through. So I was kind of just banking on me and Heather duking it out. Um, And knowing that she has a 1 point advantage really isn't great for me. So I've taken some good notes, I think, for the quiz, and I'm gonna try to be as accurate as I can in as quick as time as possible. So we'll see. I'm not feeling too confident it might be me going home on Monday. We'll see.
Well, going into the last quiz before the finals, how bad do you want to win?
I mean, I always want to win, Phil. I always want to win. Um, it's funny, and you might hate this answer, but I feel like I'm getting into a bit of a position I was in the second Survivor game I played with you, Phil, where it was me and Ben in the finals, and I felt like Ben played a better game, and that's why I didn't kind of fight him in um the final bid to the jury or plea to the jury. And I'm feeling similar feelings like with Jonathan, where it's just like, oh, Jonathan's played such a great game and he's playing a harder game than I am. That it's just like I feel like he's just gonna win it in the end. And if he does, like kudos to him. Well deserved. I'm not giving up at all. But I feel like he's definitely the person to beat for sure.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
you
So
sort of answered these questions, but feel free to answer. If you gave yourself odds, do you think you will win?
no.
Okay.
Yep. I don't know what's gonna happen in the next quiz. I think it's gonna be tight between Heather and I. I'm banking on her making a mistake somewhere or being slow. Um, and then I think final quiz, if I were to get through the final round, I think Jonathan's gonna win.
So, who do you think is your biggest competition? I'm assuming you're going to say
Jonathan,
Jonathan. Okay. And finally, once and for all, who do you believe is the mole?
it's Tina. Tina, there's too many things that's adding up that it's like, um, there's been, acts of sabotage. The messages from the moles like point in her direction. Some of the other things she said and the way she sort of handled herself, everything's sort of adding up to her. If I am wrong and it is indeed Jonathan or Heather, kudos to them because they did a really, really, really good job. I was suspecting Heather early on in the game. But upon reflection, there hasn't been anything really that I've seen her do that has led me to believe that she's trying to sabotage. And Jonathan has played this game very much like a player, like a player who's, trying to win and be quite strategic about it. But that could all be an act. And if so, kudos to him because he's done a really good job if that was his approach to it all. So,
All right. Thank you so much. That's great.